Good morning, traders. Happy Monday, and welcome back to the Trader Bacon Show. I'm your host, Gates Adams. I'm going to apologize in advance for my camera. I got a new camera, and I can't figure out the settings, so it's going to zoom in and out on me all day. My apologies, but I have some exciting news. If you haven't heard me talk about this already, welcome to the 100th episode of the Trader Bacon Show. Live today. We are going to have a fun and phenomenal show for you guys today. I'm going to bring back one of my favorite people in the world of trading, and so he's got some great insights that he's going to share with you guys. But listen, to me, this is one of the most exciting things that I have ever experienced. If you go back 2 years ago, look at June, look at July of 2023, and watch some of those early episodes of the Trader Bacon Show, and you tell me, is this a show that's going to make it to 100 episodes? I wouldn't have thought so, but here we are. And I just want to tell you guys, all of you who are here every week, week in, week out, it means so much to me. This has been so exciting and an incredible journey, not just for me personally, not just for me as a broadcaster and a content creator, but also for me as a trader. This has been such a contributing factor to my development and growth as a trader. And on that note, we've got a few fun things that we're going to do for you guys today. First and foremost, as usual, we will be giving away 3 Apex Trader Funding Evaluations. So you want to make sure you get those forms filled out. The form is going to be in the chat in just a moment. And of course, congratulations to last week's winners. And let's see if we don't totally butcher these up. Jeremy, Hari, and Philippe. Congratulations to you guys. We'll be giving away 3 more for this one as well. Also, again, I've been a little bit delinquent on the Forge Trader podcast, but it looks like we will be getting an episode out this week. So make sure to check that out at where you get all of your podcasts. You can also check it out on YouTube. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, do all the good stuff that you need to do on there as well as on here. If you want to know more about what's going on in the world of the Forge Trader, go to theforgetrader.com/join, and I will keep you updated on everything that's going on in the world of the Forge Trader. So without any further ado, I'm super excited to bring today's guest. Listen, I have a special place in my heart for today's guest because, well, a little over 2 years ago, I made a decision that I was going to figure out trading and I was going to make a real go of this. This is after losing over $1 million almost 30 years ago, and making multiple attempts at trying to get myself through the roadblocks of being an unsuccessful trader. And the first thing that I did, I said, I know I need a coach. I need to find somebody who can really help me understand all of the things that I don't understand. And because he had been a guest on the Trader Bacon Show, I had the opportunity to talk to Kevin and ask him if he would be my personal one-on-one trading coach. He agreed, and months later, I was passing evaluations like crazy and developed a foundation that has taken me to my most recent milestone in trading, which is I just broke over $50,000 in payouts with Apex Trader Funding, and it never would have happened without today's guests. So please welcome host of Futures Fever, my friend, mentor, and just all-around great guy, Kevin Dobrisky from Futures Fever on today's episode of the Trader Bacon Show. Welcome to the Trader Bacon Show, where we showcase everyday traders that are getting funded, paid, and bringing home the bacon. Are you ready? Because the Trader Bacon Show starts right now. Kevin, what's up, my man?
Dude, man, Gates, first off, what an introduction. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Secondly, I don't even know where to begin on congratulating you on episode 100 and hitting that 50K payout mark. That is phenomenal.
Dude, this has been a wild week. It literally happened just this past week as we were preparing for this show. The final payout request got approved. I'm super grateful to Apex, not just for the money, but for the opportunity to do this. I mean, I would have never gotten back into trading without Apex. And so that has absolutely been a life-changing experience. Yeah, I might be a little biased, but as I like to tell my wife when I tell her she's beautiful and she tells me I'm biased, doesn't mean I'm wrong. So anyway, well, dude, Kevin, at 100th episode, I just can't even imagine a better person to have on.
Thank you.
I want to share this story because after I'd been doing the Trader Bacon Show for a little while, Benzinga reached out to me and said, hey, we have this other show that we want to do, Futures Fever. Do you have any ideas of anybody who might be a host for that. And they said, can you give us 3 names? I'm like, yeah, I've got one for sure. And then I had to slap on a couple more names on there. Listen, great guys. But in my heart of hearts, I knew who was going to end up hosting Futures Fever. And I'm super excited to see what you've done with that show, Kevin. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Gates. I appreciate you telling them that, give this guy a shot, because I appreciate the opportunity. I love hosting that show. Guys, you could join me every Wednesday here on Benzinga at 11:30. That's another Futures show brought to us by Apex, the best prop firm. And I know Gates mentioned about bias, but quite honestly, it really does blow other prop firms out of the water in terms of rules and payouts.
I love it. I love it. And I got to tell you, he taught me a lot about trading. I taught him a lot about shameless self-promotion. And that was what we got an example of right there. So, dude, let's talk. Look, we could sit here and have a love fest all day long. I love you so much. And I'm just so grateful that you've become a part of my life, and not just in the world of coaching, but just as a friend. But this is a trading show, so we do definitely want to talk a little bit about trading. And I love your story, because it really is just such a story of triumph about how you got into trading. I know a lot of people, it's been a while since we've had you on the show. So let's talk a little bit about what got you into the world of trading. And first of all, we need to talk about the fact that you don't look the way that you looked when you got into trading, or even when I met you, right?
Yeah, small haircut.
A small haircut, yeah. That's like the worst dad joke. I got them all cut, but you did. You got them all cut. You got them all cut a lot. So how did you actually get into the world of trading?
Yeah, so I love the question. I sort of love telling my story myself, because it does show you that you don't have to come from a background of finance. You don't have to come from a background of traders. Anybody can do it, but you have to find the consistency. You have to be disciplined. You cannot just get in and expect to make money. You have to have structure with it. So I was always a hard worker. When I was younger, I was working at a CVS pharmacy. I was a manager at a very young age. I was always very ambitious, a hard worker, 50, 60 hours a week. Loved it. I got very sick when COVID started to pick up, some intestinal issues, and had to get a bunch of surgeries. This put me out of work. I was home for all day, and I had nothing to do until I found something online and said, okay, you know what? This trading thing, everybody found options at some point, right? Whenever people were advertising around the pandemic, I made 13,000% today on this one option trade. Like, all right, that's pretty cool. Give it a shot. Got into options, got into the stock market. And because I went from working all these hours to not, I took that time to read books, look through YouTube, even just watch CNBC, just to get myself in that industry, in that field, to get an understanding of it. And after so much time, after all the surgeries and issues, I was able to find some consistency. It wasn't until I found futures that I was able to really jot down some consistency. Options, I just had too much of an issue with the whole theta decay, 0-day stuff. Wasn't really feeling it. I did like options on large cap tech, but back to futures. Found consistency. Apex was a great firm that I also started with years ago when it was first getting started in 2022. And I was like, this is awesome. They give us the ability to trade. Before Apex, if you wanted to trade futures, you're looking at a few $1,000s of your own capital minimum to get started. Now you could get a 50K account for as cheap as $36. Right now it's on sale for 80% off. You get funded, it's $140. That's less than $200 of your own personal capital to be able to take out upwards of $2,000 per payout. It's huge. Talk about a return on investment.
Well, and of course, that's just in the beginning stages. I just, with that 50,000 milestone, I actually hit 5 payouts on one of my accounts. So that one actually now gets to go all in. Now, of course, I'm not going to take it down to 500, because that would be absolutely ridiculous. I want to keep this baby alive and kicking. But I do get to exceed that number, which is super exciting. Another fun milestone to hit. Now, one of the things that one of the reasons that I actually approached you to be my coach is because the whole world of trading, everybody focuses on learning a strategy. And I got to tell you, I probably made you sick in those early days going, okay, dude, you got to teach me strategy. You got to teach me strategy. You got to teach me strategy. And you patiently told me to shut up. And I needed to learn. You used nicer words than that, but that was the gist of it, because I needed to learn some foundational concepts. And even still listening to you, I see all of your stuff on social media. I see your stuff on Benzinga. not only do you have a successful strategy that's working for you, but you have this in-depth knowledge as to what's going on in the market and what's going on in the world. And it's truly impressive because I see over and over and over again, most of the stuff that's out there is people just talking strategy. And people talk about that because that's what people want to hear. Yep. And it's one of the reasons we do it on this show. I'm not going to lie. But the reality is you've taken that knowledge a step deeper and you truly understand the markets in a way that I haven't really experienced with a whole lot of other people. Can you explain what took you down that road and how did you get to that level of mastery?
Yeah, so it's really just a matter of understanding that it's not just price action, right? Mm-hmm. We're traders, we're trading markets, we're not trading candlesticks. Mm-hmm. Even though, yes, technically we are, we have to have a deeper understanding of market sentiment, of geopolitical, of economic data, what's coming in job report wise, what's coming in FOMC, all these different events, all these geopolitical, and then of course the top-down analysis of a higher time frame like a daily, and just to get a better understanding of direction of the market. Have we been consistently breaking previous day highs and closing green, which tells me we're in a bull trend? Have we been breaking previous day lows but failing to close below and staying within the range? There's a lot of different questions that we have to ask ourselves before even taking a trade. And that kind of structure helps us to not feel that need of FOMO whenever the market starts to move.
Well, and it's interesting because, even a couple of years down the road, I don't have the confidence that I understand that to the extent that I know I should, and certainly by no means to the extent that you do. But this is one of the reasons that I continue to, watch your content and see what you're doing. Because again, I don't know anybody who not just gets it, but is able to explain it in a way that you do. And that's always just been, when I decided, when I really made that hard and fast decision, I'm going to figure this out. Yep. I realized that what I needed was more than a red light, green light system. I had to understand and get a real sense of what's going on. So let's, look, this is a trading show. And of course, like I said, we give the people what they want. So let's go ahead and pull up some charts and let's talk a little bit about what this looks like for you, what some of the stuff that you showed me early on that has helped me get to where I am. And of course, is the reason that you, like, I interview people. You actually talk about the markets. That's one of the big differences between our shows, right? And there's no surprise as to why that is. So let's talk a little bit about what you see when you open up your charts.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, first off, again, a big congratulations to Yates on episode number 100. Make sure you guys smash that like button. I do want to try to hit us towards 100 likes today. That would be phenomenal. Guys, Gates deserves it. He does a lot of hard work, puts a lot of great shows together, and has a lot of awesome guests. So thank you, Gates. We'll start at that.
I appreciate that.
Of course. And then we'll get into some analysis. So the first thing I see, right, is I always want to just look at a daily time frame. My whole saying of when in doubt, zoom out, get an idea. Are we making higher highs? Are we making higher lows? Are we making lower lows?
Right.
A simple enough question, but a lot of people overlook it, right? People will just start right away and go on a 15-minute time frame and start to trade. And that's not a good idea. If you don't know if we're at a daily level of support, you don't know if we're in the middle of, I call it the middle of nowhere, when we're in between two key levels, and we should not be taking a trade. And we'll see that shortly once we start breaking it down.
Right.
So here on the daily, the first thing that catches my eye is here's the S&P 500. We're making all-time highs, pulling back, all-time highs and pulling back. So what I'd recognize is, okay, every time we do come near new all-time highs on the S&P 500, it's met by chop. It's met by a complete range where eventually sellers do take some control before we find a daily support level and we go make another all-time high. Right. So regardless, daily time frame, we're still bullish. But now, because we're day traders, it's important to come check a lower time frame. We don't want to be trading a daily if we're trading on a 5-minute.
Exactly.
So I come down to like a 4-hour time frame. And again, this gives me a bit of a cleaner view of our range. I see, okay, well, the ES has been finding support near 64.65 on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and now today, New York session, we opened up right in that area of support. So that was my first sort of a bit of a red flag for me today for any short positions. Because, hey, guess what? We're opening at the bottom of our range. We don't want to sell the lows and buy the highs. We want to buy the lows and sell the highs. So because we open near the bottom of this range, we open near support. I was looking for some long position. So we were able to say, okay, well, let's break it down to maybe an hourly first, see if there are any demand zones. And I don't see any. So that's another bit of a red flag. If I don't see any demand zones that formed while we were rallying higher, that tells me the rally didn't have proper structure. So because we don't have proper structure, that tells me at some point this support zone will fail. So again, here comes two biases going against each other. We're at the bottom of our range, which should keep us bullish, but we've tested this zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times now. And look at the 6th retest. We are not trading right out of it like we have been for the past few days. This zone has gotten so weak, we are getting probably a bearish move soon. But with us still trading at these levels, I wouldn't want to take any trades here, because I would want to see some confirmation to say, okay, either A, we are going to hold that low, we're going to close higher, and then I'll look for a retrace and entry, or B, we're failing. We break these lows, which at the moment from Thursday's low, we created a higher low. So we are still in a bit of a bullish hold on the ES, even though we're failing to create higher highs. So that gives us a very tight range. I'm very into, obviously, the higher highs, higher lows. It just gives us a bit of a basic understanding of the market structure. And then I use my supply and demand to find those A-plus entries. Another strategy and system I have been using has been with the volume profile. Been using low volume nodes. That's extremely helpful. So check this out. This on TradingView, if you come over to your left-hand side, to your projection category, come down to volume based and anchored volume profile. You're going to click that. And because we're trading futures, I like to place it at our 6 p.m. because that's when our futures daily candle opens. So 6 p.m. from Sunday, that's our Monday's daily. I plotted it and I saw that here on our volume profile, we have low volume to the upside and heavy volume to the downside. So that tells me sellers are accepting price at lower levels and buyers are failing. So I would look for a low volume node like we had right here to take that short position to trade back to the bottom of the range.
I love this. Can you guys see why it's so, it is a whole new level watching Kevin go through his analysis. It is just truly amazing.
Thank you, man. Listen, it's what we do. It's what I do. It's what I love to do. And you guys could join me, like you said, shameless plug. Join me live every day, Monday through Friday, bullishbears.com. I do live trade there. If you are looking for one-on-one mentorship, that would be tradingpioneers.net.
We should have made you banners for those. Shame on me for that.
No, that's all right. Like, I don't have enough plugs with Benzinga. I could have risked.
There you go.
No, I would never. Benzinga is the best, guys. This is the best platform, guys. Don't forget to follow on social media at Benzinga. On social media, on Instagram specifically, I post to my personal social media, Trading with Kev, and I post daily different market analysis, whether it's reasons why gold is bullish, maybe it's a weak dollar. If we are going to get an interest rate cut, like a Fed rate cut next month, they're calling for an 80 to 90%. These are all things, like Gates mentioned, that aren't on the chart, but we do have to be aware because it's going to make an impact on the market.
Right. I love that.
Absolutely. Yo, what's up, Jay, in the comments? What's going on? Douglas, what's going on? Yes, sir. All right, let's see. So this was the ES. We could take a look at the NASDAQ too, and we'll see similar price action, and we'll see similar tools being used. So LVN, that's a low volume node. That's what we were looking for with the volume profile. Now, this volume profile is great because it works for almost everything that requires volume to move. Whether you're trading something like Apple, Microsoft, NASDAQ, gold, oil, price moves by volume. Price does not move because a candlestick says so. Right. So with that being said, when we find our volume areas and then we could find confluence with our candlestick price action and zones, that's when we find our A-plus trades, guys. That's when we should be taking the trades. So look at this poor price action today on the NASDAQ. Another great help that I found to be a great strategy, I should say, that's been super helpful in this range-bound price action. There are two strategies, and I'll say it as soon as we hit 30 likes, which is in a few likes away, guys. But the two strategies I like would have to be the orb, which is the opening range breakout. And that's the first 15-minute candle high, 15-minute candle low, and the gap fill. Now, I really like the orb for intraday because what it does when we're at these all-time highs is it gives us new price levels to work with. Because when we are at all-time highs, I know we weren't today because we have sold off since then, but when we're at all-time highs, we don't have any historical levels to work with. And when that's the case, as you guys see with all these blue levels, these aren't just random blue levels I plotted. These are all key whole numbers, 23,500, 600, 700. These are whole numbers, key psychological levels that when we're at all-time highs, price tends to respect. Look at how well 23,700 right here. Resistance, 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 support, and now it might be support tomorrow. So we'll line up our key psych levels. We'll break it down into some lower time frame supply and demand. Then we could find when the market opens our opening range breakout or possibly our gap fill. There are so many different strategies we could use, but it's also important, Gates, like when we were mentoring, don't strategy hop. Don't get too overwhelmed. Don't try to learn everything at once. Learn a baseline, like Gates, when we started, supply and demand, right? Get a basic understanding, higher highs, higher lows, support, resistance. Once you learn that, then you could start breaking it down a little more in depth. Guys, don't forget, chance to win a free Apex evaluation account. Fill that form out in the comments. Sorry, Gates, was that your line?
Dude, that's great, man. You're making it super easy on me today. I'm not used to having guests who are actually watching the chat. So there you go. Really, really nice.
Dude, always, man. We make a good combo. We'll have to run it back again.
Always, always.
All right, guys. So this is the NASDAQ. If you guys want, we could take a look at gold. Now, GC is going to be gold. I would say we could look at oil, but I don't want to waste our time because oil has been just horrible ever since the whole tariff fiasco was announced back in February when we announced we're going to tariff Canada and Mexico, which gave us this wild reaction on gold that was right here. So this was our January, middle of January. We mentioned tariffs on Canada, which is where the U.S. gets 60% of our crude oil inventory from Canada. Again, something to know, but isn't on the chart.
Right.
So very helpful. Gave us a huge sell-off from these highs. I mean, we went as low as 51.18 per barrel. It's a 30% sell-off on oil in a matter of 109 days, so about 4 months. So that's a huge sell-off. We have since went all the way back up and then some. This was when we attacked Iran over here, and the market went from, I think it was 71 a barrel to like 76 a barrel. We had swing traders looking for $80. Everybody was bullish on oil this day, which is exactly why we sold off that day.
Right.
But since then, I've noticed the price action itself intraday has been just horrendous. Volume has not been consistent. It hasn't been respecting supply and demand like it usually does. And being able to recognize when markets are in your favor and aren't in your favor are both equally as important. So with that being said, oil has been off my watch list. Now, gold, clearly so much better price action.
Love that.
But
yeah, that's as pretty as it gets, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Buy the lows, sell the highs. Come on, guys. It's that easy. Why aren't you rich yet? No, it's not that easy, guys. It's always got structure, emotion. Because remember, we're human. As much as we don't want to be emotionally attached to the market, that's why prop firms are so great. We don't want to be emotionally attached to the market. We don't want to be emotionally attached to our trade. What helps us stay detached? Proper risk management, knowing that if you lose this trade, that's absolutely fine. And could take another one. And just knowing that you'll live to trade another day, right? People who feel the need that they got to make money today. Today's got to be a green day. I need everybody to throw that mindset out the window. Everybody has red days. It doesn't matter if you've been trading for 3 months, 30 years. Peter, David, who I've had on the Futures Fever, 40 years they've been in the markets.
Oh my gosh,
they have red days, you know. Hey, thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. You said great job filling in for Ryan last week. Appreciate that. Guys, run that like button up. Show Gates some love, man. Let's at least top it to 50 likes today. Gates has put together such a fantastic show with Futures Fever with, of course, the best prop firm out there, Apex Trader Funding. Gates, you got any other questions or do you want to cover anything? You let me know.
Dude, I want to talk about your world since you chose to become a trader. And this is one of my favorite questions because the reality is trading is hard. Trading sucks at times. In fact, one of my good friends experienced one of the big lows in the world of trading just this past weekend. And he's sort of heartbroken. And we've all been through this. We've all gone through this at some point or another. And quite frankly, we're all going to over and over again. This is just the nature of trading. But there is another side of it. There is, it is worth it when you start to think about what the reality is on the other side. So let's talk about the other side for you, Kevin. What has trading enabled you to do in your world, which you were not able to do working in that pharmacy?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously the whole time thing, right? Our time is money and time is freedom. So it's really opened up. I mean, when I'm trading with the Bullish Bears community, and I don't have like a Benzinga call or to host a show or anything. I'm done for the day at 11. I can go run to the grocery store. It's funny running into Costco at like on a Tuesday at 12 and like nobody's in there. And they're like, what's this kid doing here?
Right. Aren't you supposed to be working?
Yeah, right. Shouldn't you be working? Like, I already worked. Don't mind me.
Yeah.
But it really gives you that ability to give you your time back. And again, one of the hardest things though is overcoming that step of saying, okay, I have to take responsibility for all of my trades. Whether I have a mentor or not, I'm the one pulling the trigger on my trades. I'm the one risking X amount. And that's going to, again, these little things to psychologically know will make that difference in your trading because then you're more aware of it. Yes, guys, absolutely. Got to show Gates some love.
And John, I'm so glad you made it today. Real quick, John is like my favorite fan. He's one of the most engaged fans I could even imagine. So he wasn't sure he was going to make it to the show today. I saw you in the chat, John, when you came in. So I'm super glad that you're here live. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
No, dude, of course. What's up, John? And Tom was asking, could you trade stocks with Apex or just futures? So just futures. Apex Trader Funding is a prop firm for futures trading. Now, you can't hold trades overnight. You can't swing trade. However, futures markets close from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. That's when you cannot be in that trade. But if you were to enter a trade, let's say 6:01 markets are open, futures markets are open, and there is a setup you like, you could enter that trade and hold it into the New York session the next day. Technically, that's overnight, but it's not into a closure from the future session.
Right. So you can close it out and re-enter pretty much immediately once that market opens back.
Yep.
So, all right. So here you are. You've got time. You've got energy. You're still obviously a very young guy. And one of the things that I've started to ask a lot of people lately, because trading takes time. There's no shortcut to becoming a successful trader. When you started, if you knew how long it would take you to get to the point of being successful, do you think you would have stuck it out?
Of course. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
You're the first person to answer yes to that.
Yeah.
Because for me, it was almost 3 decades, right? If I had known, I probably would have never started. It would have eliminated so much heartache from my life. If I knew on the front end, not knowing what the other side looks like, right?
Yep.
But once you get there, it really and truly, there's nothing like it. There's nothing that can create the type of life that trading can create. And so the whole point of that question is it's tough, and you're going to have to go through a lot. Scandal. There's a lot that you're going to have to go through, but at the end of the day, it's worth it, and it's only worth it because of what's possible. The only way to fail at trading is to quit.
Dude, I love
this is a lifelong pursuit. This is a lifelong journey. It never ends. This is why I continue to do things like the Forge Trader podcast, which, by the way, I think we might be able to get Kevin on the Forge Trader podcast here very, very soon. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. But at the end of the day, you have to understand why it's worth going through those tough times, why it's worth going through those heartaches and just those moments where it's like, I can't believe as much time, energy, effort, money I have put into this. Why do I keep going? Well, there is a reason why. That reason why is on the other side. And there is a life that a trader has that, whether it be traveling, whether it just be having time with the family, whether it be just massive amounts of money. All of these things are possible through the world of trading. And we've seen this over and over and over again as we continue to bring on successful traders to the show and have other shows like Futures Fever highlight the understanding, knowledge, and skills that we need to develop in order to get there. Don't stop the fight. I mean, really and truly keep going. I'm going to break out in some journey. Don't stop believing. There is another side for you, and it may take 6 months and it may take 6 years. It doesn't matter. If this is what you want, the only way to fail is to quit. So
That's right.
Throw that out there. Dude, 30 minutes in, I could absolutely do this for a few more hours. So we're going to have to talk podcast where there's no time constraints. And
I was going to say, we'll keep going, right? We're fine with letting the show go another hour or two.
I think our producer might have a little bit of an issue with that. So as we need to, as much as I hate to do it, I would love to continue to do this for quite a bit longer. But Kevin, thank you so much for sharing this 100th episode with me. This has been such a fun show first and foremost, but such an incredible milestone for me. I can't even begin to tell you all how excited and how enthusiastic I am for everything that this show has been in my world. So make sure to make sure to subscribe, come back next week. Of course, we're going to have another phenomenal show for you next week. It won't be Kevin. It won't be the 100th episode anymore, but it's still going to be great as we continue to grow and develop the Trader Bacon Show. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. I will see you guys back here next Monday on the next episode of the Trader Bacon Show. Thanks for joining the Trader Bacon Show, where we showcase everyday traders that are getting funded, paid, and bringing home the bacon. Make sure to join us next time, Mondays at 11 a.m. Eastern.